is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, December 1st. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Orlando, Florida, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And still from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology, and cold weather in Florida that TJ brought. Why did you do this?
Oh my gosh, it is so cold here. I walked out yesterday, Seth, and it was like 45 degrees. 45 degrees. When does it get 45 degrees in Orlando? Only a couple times a year, and I am here for it.
It'll be back up to 85 by Friday, so I don't think you have to worry about too much. But
yeah, if you look at the weather, like every day, it improves by like 10 degrees. So by the time we leave on Saturday, it's going to be like 86. So I'm not complaining too much. I have clothes, so
that's a good thing.
The poor iguanas. That's all I ever think about now is falling iguanas when I think of cold weather in Florida.
It's not even that cold.
Well, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's that cold yet, but it's only cold. This is like the one day it's going to be cold or something. That I don't know. We're supposed to have a cold, wet winter. But my brother did send me an update on the iguanas. I guess he follows some people that on Facebook or something that keep up with this. And there's a post that said, "Are they falling out of the trees today?" And somebody wrote back, said, "Oh wait, no. It takes a few days basically for them to start falling out of the trees, but they're adapting now. They figured it out." And when it gets cold, they just go underground.
That's amazing.
Nature finds a way.
They are adapting and learning. I love it. You know, that's evolution right before your eyes. How often do you get to actually see that? And just to let you know, Steph, there is a domain available. You could do ouriguanasfalling.com and let people know if iguanas are falling out of the tree, and even make it to where people can submit photos and stuff. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Oh,
you know, because people like Gavin, they can't see these iguanas falling out of trees. But maybe somebody had surveillance photos or videos of that happening.
You know, I always visualized like an iguana falling out of a tree and smashing. You know, like when it gets cold, like into 1,000 little pieces, shattering just like all over the ground. But you ruined it for me. You said that doesn't happen, so I'm not too excited.
Yeah.
It's like a thud, and then they warm up and they scurry off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't stay that cold that long. So I mean, I'm sure if it lasted a couple days, then they would probably suffer more damage. But it's usually like the morning, and that's it.
I can get aretheyfalling.com. That's available. Also, aretheyfalling.ca. So if there was a Canadian equivalent to this,
you could do that one for the pawpaws, maybe. That way Gavin can get pawpaws finally.
Is it pawpawseason.com? And yeah, that's available as well. I can get that. And the one day of the year that it's pawpaw season, I can turn that to say, yes, it's pawpaw season. Go buy them now.
I'm amazed that those domains are available.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. That's pretty impressive, you know.
Yeah, I can also get the is it pawpawseason.ca as well. So if I needed the Canadian,
there you go.
There you go.
That's too good. All right. Well, speaking of new websites, we've got a bunch of new products that have come out tonight. So what do you guys say we jump into these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, big news over there at Inovelli. We had Eric on a couple weeks back, and they look like they have they're ready to release a new Zigbee fan canopy module. We were talking about a little bit about this before the show. This is pretty nice. It's just a little update. They had one of these before. But they wanted to update it. I guess it was that one of their number one selling switches or whatever devices. So there was an update a couple of days ago from Eric. He said, quick update. We received the beta units last Friday, had the opportunity to test them myself over the weekend. And he said, first impression, solid feel. It feels heavy and constructed well. It's a very small compared to the first generations, which he has some pictures in the thread we'll link to. You can see that they are significantly smaller, which is nice. And then it has some longer wires and an antenna that come off of it. It's just wires that connect to your wiring in the fan canopy. And overall, it looks and feels nice. He's very happy. So that it's actually a pretty cool product. You can order it now. It runs Zigbee, $36, does dimming, and will work with AC fan motors. So if you need this in a Zigbee setup, it works with SmartThings, Home Assistant, ZHA, and Home Assistant Zigbee to MQTTT, and then Habitat. So it says if you don't see your hub listed here, do not purchase this switch until the confirming compatibility. So they, I guess they're rolling out drivers and everything for it, but if you got one of those for, I guess, 3.5 systems there, don't get this until they say it's good to go. But I don't know. It's pretty good. This looks like a little problem solver. It looks pretty good to me.
Yep. And I know Eric, he hinted at a bunch of products they were working on, and this is one of them. And to me, this is one of those products that, yeah, it solves a problem. I know a number of people have been doing fans lately. And it's not easy, especially when you have one wire going to the fan, but you have to control two things, right? This solves that problem. And I know it's Zigbee. You can pair it with a Zigbee switch and use Zigbee binding, so it's directly communicating. That way it doesn't have to go through the hub. But even if you had a Z-Wave switch, I'm pretty sure you can just use an automation or something like that on like a Home Assistant to do that automation for you. So when you press the button, it will turn on the light or the fan, right? But it's a really good. I like this, something different, more than just a switch or a sensor.
Yeah, this is definitely a good idea, and especially if you're looking at the old one compared to the new one. The old one is, I guess, what I would consider your typical fan controller. It's the one that you would see if you bought a new fan from like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Basically, the physical size of it. And so the new one is like absolutely tiny compared to that. It's like almost, I would say, half the size it looks like. Which is nice because there's not a lot of room in those junction boxes to put these things at.
You have pictures of it being installed, and it's like some of those fans have like the little mount that you like hang the fan into, and then the wires come out of that. Like he has it installed.
And you have to like shove it in there. It's like so much stuff in that one spot.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, I mean, I think you can. The older one, you would not be able to shove it in there. I guess maybe you could, but. Like, I think it's designed to live up in that actual canopy and just kind of off to the side. But those canopies always fall down. That is a pain. Like, if they're not screwed up there properly, they look weird. And I don't know. This looks like it's going to be a better fit for the job. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, my problem with fans these days now is not so much the control of them. We have a lot of control options, and it's great to see this one as well. But now my problem is not knowing if a ceiling fan is AC powered or DC powered. And this switch is only compatible with AC motors, which I think is pretty much older fans. I'm sure they make newer fans with AC motors, but like, I don't know, there's not a good way to tell that on like packaging as far as I can tell, or even sometimes the manual. I think Gavin maybe posted a video a couple of weeks ago or a month ago about one of the smart home channels automating fans, like ceiling fans. And it was just like such a mismatch of like technology just to get like basic ceiling fan functionality to work. So I think that would be useful if they had a DC one as well at some point, but this is definitely a good new product for them.
If you have DC, it has those wand controls that they want you to mount on the wall. And I mean, really, the only solution right now is to get one of those Bond controller things and hook them up. I think even they have the little Bond keypad things that should work with that now too, if you wanted to go a different direction. But
yeah, that's what we've had to do for our living room fan, is because just getting the Bond, and that way we can have at least control of it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on here. We got a couple of new products, like I was saying. IKEA is expanding in the range of affordable smart home devices with 3 new Zigbee sensors. The Parasol with 2 L's, a door and window sensor, the Valhorn, also with 2 L's, a motion sensor, and the Bad Ring, no L's, a water leakage sensor. These sensors will be priced less than $10 and will be available globally in the first half of next year. Pretty cool. I'm all for inexpensive Zigbee sensors. This is great, especially the water leak sensor for less than $10 or $10 or whatever. That's really cool. You can just pop that in like behind a toilet, under a sink or something like that, and it can live there and do its thing, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, the best thing about the water leak sensor too is it does include a built-in siren. And so if your automation doesn't work, or you forgot to set it up, or maybe you got a new device and forgot to set it up with a new device, at least it'll make a sound to let you know water is leaking, which I'm a huge fan of for these devices.
Usually I'm not a fan. Like, when you see cheap products, you think, oh, they're going to be a problem or something like that. But IKEA products I've found to be like problem free. They've always worked well in my setups. I have a few of their switches. I have their blinds, and I've had absolutely no problems with them. Like, they just work. I use them with Home Assistant. I've used them with Habitat, and no issues at all. I'm pretty sure these will probably work fine. And if they work great for under $10, it's almost a no-brainer.
Yep, no Matter support yet. I guess the Verge here article says, despite Matter support being, quote, just a couple months away, over a year ago, the company still doesn't support it. So, one day they may turn that on. We'll have Matter enabled or supported bad ring sensors. This all seems really good to me. Like, this is the literal mass market of products, especially at that price point. And like you're saying, even the having just working standalone, like just sticking that the water leak sensor just on the floor, and if the hub is down or whatever, it's still going to make noise. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are my favorite type of devices because you just don't have to worry about them other than the batteries. So you throw them in there and you're good to go no matter what. So I think that's a good functionality. And even this door contact, I mean, the window or door contact, it looks a little big from the picture, but I still like how they designed it and the magnet and everything like that. That way you just match up. Traditionally with these kind of contacts, the magnet itself is like half the length of the actual contact, and you have to like get it in a certain area in order to make sure it actually works and triggers the automations or whatever you're doing. This one is like the full size of the contact as well, which I think makes a little more sense, right? Because if you're already installing that sensor, why not just line it up with the whole thing? And that way you just know that it works.
Well, if you can imagine what an IKEA instruction booklet is going to look like with this thing to install versus the, I don't know, let's just say the instruction booklet that comes with a wireless contact with maybe a DSC system. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be night and day. Like, it's just, there's no comparison. Like this will be much easier to follow like 5 pictures of some asexual person setting up a sensor, and it looks like it's big enough to like hold a regular battery. I don't know. It says that it's got a coin cell battery on that one. It doesn't look like it can hold a coin cell battery, but it I guess the motion sensor has 3 AA batteries that can go into it. Looks also, I was going to mention that it looked also kind of big, but the door sensor, the parasol door and window sensor, actually, I mean, it looks like it could hold a regular AAA or a battery or something in there, but I don't know. I guess it's going to be coin controlled.
Yeah, we'll see. They always make good devices though, so I have no doubt these will be good as well.
Right. Well, speaking of good devices, Switchbot Lock Pro has been released in Japan, and it offers various unlocking methods, including fingerprint, voice control, and Apple Watch compatibility. Love that part. It's got a longer battery life of, quote, up to 9 months, with an option to extend to 12 months with a rechargeable battery. The Pro model features a round knob for easier unlocking and magnetic sensor for automatic locking. Also compatible with Matter for integration with smart home systems. So a new Switchbot Lock Pro looks like it's about to hit the market. I guess it's only in Japan right now, but it'll probably make its way over here.
Yeah, this is pretty cool actually, because my favorite thing about this is the grip thing that goes onto the actual, I don't even know what that thing is called, but where you actually turn the deadbolt to lock it or unlock it. The annoying thing to me with the original Switchbot is that it had 3 different size like cups or adapters that went over that. And so you basically had to figure out the one that that fit the best and then put the other one somewhere. Because like, what if if you're going to use this in an apartment, you're going to have to keep the other one somewhere because you're going to move eventually. It might not be the same exact size. And so I like that this one is
like a automatically stick-on door lock controller thing.
Right. Like you're going to move at some point with it. So you need to have all that stuff. And that was super annoying to me because I was like, that was the first thing I'm going to lose, right? It's like, we're going to go to move and I'm not going to know where I put these plastic pieces at. So that change is worth it alone for me. It says that the adhesive sizing is a little bigger as well. I'm not really sure how you would do that because it was already taking up a large portion of the lock. But I will say mine didn't stay on my door for more than like 6 months still. They should probably fix that.
It doesn't seem like it's the best method, I guess, to stick a security device onto a door, but the whole point of it is that it's not a permanently installed solution thing. So
right. Yeah, Switchbot.
Right, and it's Switchbot. I guess it's in Japan for 15,000 yen, which is about $107.
So it's affordable.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is whenever these things are like this price, it's like as long as they work most of the time, you're fine with the price. And it's going to have caveats. Every product does, but as you spend less, the more you can deal with the caveats. The more you spend, the less you deal with them. So.
Right.
There's a lot of caveats. I'm just going to warn you. If you're going to buy a Switchbot product, just be prepared to get spammed by them. Anytime they have any sort of sale. Like, I bought a few products from them. Just today, I actually paid off my FedEx bill. Go figures, I got a FedEx bill for a warranty return that got shipped to me. I guess there was some import thing I had to pay. And on top of that, every time they have a sale, I get a text notification, a WhatsApp message. I didn't know that was possible. I get an email and I get a push notification from their app. And it's like, I'm trying to unsubscribe from these things and I don't know if it's working or what. I replied with, please stop messages,
So that's the problem. You're too nice in Canada. You guys say, please. No, you just got to reply in all capital letters. Stop. Like they ask you to do here in America.
I'm not a fan of a company that spams you that much. Like they've one up, the Amazon app, and I know you guys in the States get it a lot worse than we do up here. But it's pretty, like Switchbot, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, the spam over the last couple of days has been a little outrageous. I will say I'm a big fan of them, but Shelly did a lot of spamming. I got so many emails from Shelly. And there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head. It doesn't really work because I didn't really look at anything they were selling.
Emails is one thing, but I got hit from 4 different directions with
you can't get away.
It's like, all right, delete the email. Oh crap, I got a text message. All right, delete the text. Oh, my WhatsApp. Oh, delete the WhatsApp. And it's like, and it happened multiple times. It was pre-Black Friday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday. Like they just kept spamming me. I'm just like, I don't like a company that does that. So I might not ever order from them again, just because that I found that really annoying.
They hired the marketing firm that's working on the extended car warranties. I guess it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. We got one more new product before we can move on to some other interesting stories. Konnected has just released an official driver for their smart garage door opener for Habitat. Integration is 100% local and does not require any third-party apps or cloud connectivity. I wonder who that is digging at. Firmware is based on ESP Home, utilizes ESP Home API 1 library for fast local connectivity with Habitat. We talked about this a little bit a few weeks ago when the whole MyQ thing was going on with I guess everybody kind of waking up and realizing cloud connected garage door opener is probably not the way to go. And I mentioned that they were selling this. This one's interesting because it has the little laser thing. I guess it's called a laser time of flight sensor, and it detects the garage door's position as it's like going up and down, and it's got a built-in flashing LED and warning sound into it. So it's like an all-in-one package, a little bit better than most that are out there because it's got the safety features kind of built into it as well. 100% local. You don't have to worry about cloud connectivity, and it's only $89. So pretty good.
And garage door openers are the hot topic right now. Like that's the thing about. I'll let you know a little secret. I ordered a Rat GDO.
Ooh.
I ordered one. I was looking at it and it has it basically it more than just controls your garage door opener. It does a lot more, and that's why I jumped in on it, right? So but Konnected has a good one too. There are a lot of new ones coming out. It's a hot topic right now, and I think they should have been doing this years ago. Right?
Yeah, well, Nate's been working on this particular product, I know, for well over a year now. I mean, they're a small company. But I mean, he also, like, if you look at what Rad GDO did, it's a very DIY friendly product, to put it nicely. If you look at what
lawsuits, if you ask me.
But if you look at what Nate's put together over at Konnected, that's a full product. Like it's feature complete. It comes in a nice box. You don't have to get a 3D printed case or whatever and put it on there. And it's $89, whereas what Rad GDO is like, what? $30 or something like that. It wasn't
$40 with the full thing, I think. Yeah.
But I will say, I do know, I talked to Nate when all this MyQ stuff was going on, I'm like, hey, I know you got the garage door opener, but what about this? And I sent him the link to Rad Cheetah. He's like, yeah, we're working on it. It's like it'll be in a couple of months. They'll have another compatible one out. But he's been working on this for a long time, and there's still a big market for this type of contact closure one, right?
Yeah,
and there will be into the future. Like there's plenty of garage doors that are either one type or the other, so you don't have to worry about whoever's coming out with a product for this is going to sell very well into the future.
One thing I noticed is a lot of people were posting their pictures of their installs, but their installs were like naked. Like it was just a circuit board, mounted to the side of the garage door opener. I didn't like that. Right? Well, I didn't like that at all. So somebody posted on the Home Assistant forum, links to 3D printed cases where you can, you could get the actual file, download it yourself and print your own case. And then you have a nice little enclosure and everything like that. So I was like, beautiful. I got mine on the way. I'm going to print out a case, and that way it will be in its nice little house.
Some of these look really nice too. Like it's not, I mean, it's a rendering of it, I guess, but some of them look really good.
Yeah, you can add your own flair. You could do multicolor if you wanted, do whatever you want. I was actually going to design my own, but since somebody already did it saves me some time.
Yeah, make a HomeTech podcast version.
Ooh, there you go. Print our faces on it.
All right. Well, let's move on here. So there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's rumors about a Sonos earbuds coming out. So,
what a mess this week, though. Holy cow! The headphones are bad.
Supposedly, Sonos is planning to release its own wireless earbuds and a smart speaker to compete with Apple AirPods and the Apple TV. The earbuds, codenamed Sabrina, will feature voice control and a wireless charging base similar to the AirPods, and also come with noise cancellation technology, expected to be priced around $200. The smart speaker, codenamed the S25, will support both Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, and have HDMI eARC for better connectivity to televisions. It's said to come with Google Assistant, Amazon built in, along with support for Apple Siri. The release of Sonos' new products is expected to be sometime in 2024, next year. Hopefully we'll see them next year. Well, not headphones, but earbuds, TJ.
No, there's headphones and earbuds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So according to this Engadget article, they're going to make high end over the ear headphones and small in ear wireless earbuds. So I mean, I basically got what I thought was going to happen, but we'll have to wait to see if it actually happens.
Did you?
Well, I thought they would have two different models. They'd have an expensive model, and then they would have a cheaper model. So we'll just see how that plays out.
I feel like the monkey paw is just going to be like, and they'll run finger on you. And then,
well, I mean, that's how technology goes, right? The confusing thing about all this, right, is like, you can kind of forgive. They're talking about making like a more expensive sound bar that's going to cost around $1,200. And to me, that's ridiculous, but whatever. I guess you can do that.
I mean, there are plenty of soundbars that cost that much out there on the market right now. Like there's Sony soundbars and LG Samsung soundbars that run up to $2,000-$3,000 easy. So I think that's a market space that they could definitely get into and not have any problems.
Yeah,
the current one is what, $900? So like, yeah, I think, but it's $900, but you have to add on the other speakers. All the ones like Sony has or LG has, they have Atmos built into them. You supposedly don't have to add in other speakers. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference for me, is that a lot of the other ones that maybe I've seen or compared to is that they automatically come with the subwoofer and the surrounds. And so, like, I think it's a little more tolerable when you charge $2,000 or $3,000 for that compared to like just $1,200 for the soundbar. But I don't know. The Sonos Arc, I think, is really good, and I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to do that. But that's not the weird thing, Seth. I mean, that's whatever. The next weird thing is the streaming box, which I don't understand at all. Right? I mean, like, who is asking for another Android-based streaming box?
Telling you, it's a monkey paw, man. It's a monkey paw thing. Like, it's going to happen.
And
like,
these headphones are
somebody wished wrong, and we're getting something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to be what we're asking for.
The in-ear buds are probably only going to work with like the Sonos set box or something.
Right,
silly.
Exactly. That's it.
It's like the expensive ones will work with whatever. You'll have Bluetooth and everything. But if you buy these cheap ones, they're only going to work with our set-top box. I want the headphones so bad, though. Just bring them to me, please.
Gavin, are you in the market for any Sonos headphones?
I would be in the market for Sonos headphones possibly, because that would be cool if it easily integrates with my TV setup, so I could just flip them all over to the headphones and not bother anybody in the house. Earbuds, probably not, because my AirPods work better with my iPhone than probably anything else, right? And that integration, I just don't want to replace. So I don't know if Sonos, how well they're going to do with the earbuds. And yeah, I'm like, DJ, why do they need another Android box? Like, why are they trying to compete with that? Like, why are they trying to compete with the Apple,
Roku, Apple.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we want some headphones. None of those other systems really have something that will integrate with your system like that. Like, they're not listening to TJ. They just need to listen to TJ.
They need to listen to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we know it's over if Sonos comes out with their own rebranded Wise things. There's Sonos automatically or just suddenly launches like their own smart plugs and indoor cameras and stuff. You're like, oh, well, now it's over for Sonos. So,
well, yeah, we'll have to see. I'm cautiously optimistic for you, I guess I'll say. We'll just
not a fan.
All right. Well, that's all the good news we have. The bad news is that Amazon seems to be cutting several hundred jobs in its Alexa division. I heard like 900. And as it shifts priorities to focus more on generative AI. So I guess if you work at Amazon Alexa, they are trimming some fat over there. They sent an internal memo obtained by GeekWire stating that the job cuts are part of discontinuing certain initiatives and reallocating resources to align with business priorities. Amazon did not provide specific details on which initiatives are actually being discontinued. This restructuring follows the previous layoffs in the Alexa team last year. And I mean, Amazon, if you look at like who's been fired this year, Amazon is at the top of the list of layoffs as far as the tech companies goes. It was a massive, massive year between Amazon and Google. Doing some major layoffs this year. Microsoft too, and Amazon's still at it. Microsoft and Google seem to have kind of laid off, but Amazon still going at it with their layoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what departments, I guess, over there, what initiatives get discontinued from Alexa.
So I wonder if they're just like becoming more efficient. I don't know. Are they refocusing more on their AI? They had some big AI announcements too, so they gotta shift some of their resources, but they got to find ways to make money off this stuff, I guess, right?
Oh, I mean, that was always their dream and their goal, but it seemed like everybody who bought one never wanted to use it for that. Never, like, I don't know. People, I guess it's cool that you can say, order me this, but everybody I talk to says, well, that was the end of Alexa in my house when my kids started putting stuff in my shopping cart. And I just don't think people in the real world, maybe there's a few appreciate that, but a few people that do appreciate it is not the mass market. I think most people just really liked their timer functionality and that they get the weather in the morning every now and then. But other than that, it wasn't a very great product for literally everything else they tried to monetize it with.
Like, I never trusted the buy that, because I was always afraid I'd say buy the toilet paper and it would pick the most expensive one and purchase that one. Like, well, when you're on Amazon, you look and you price check and stuff like that. Like, it's avoiding that. So I don't know if that was a good use case for it. And it doesn't help that their products are always on sale for like a ridiculous half off or something like that, right? Like, it's every weekend they find some reason to be on sale, so everyone always buys it at the discounted price. So that doesn't help either.
Well, and that's kind of my thing too, right? Is that out of the gate, these devices were somewhat expensive. I don't remember.
Seth, like $200.
The original Echo was. Yeah, it was like $200, right?
$199, I think, is what we paid for ours. I mean, it was like really did nothing, but you could ask it to tell you a stupid joke and it would tell you a dad joke. Mm-hmm. And it would, I think, do the weather and various facts thing. There was no smart home integration at all. It was a kitchen timer. It did a kitchen timer thing, and that's what we used it for years until it started getting kind of creepy, and then we turned it off. But yeah.
It was basically like a race to the bottom, though, very quickly on pricing. And, kind of like what Gavin said, they're always half off. And whenever you have a product that's always that inexpensive or basically like it takes nothing to get to, nobody wants to pay for the long-term support of it, right? Because if they've paid $50 for this device, most of the time people are not going to want to pay $60 a year for some subscription or whatever it is. And so I think they shot themselves in the foot by going, bottom of the barrel as fast as they did. I feel like they could have did that a little more gradually and introduced some of this stuff like subscriptions and whatever else, and people would have been a little more susceptible to it, but not now.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think they ever implemented anything that was compelling for people. Like I said, when they did put the things that could monetize the product in there, they just weren't compelling features for people. Like, I don't think they ever found the right use cases for voice assistant to be able to go out and monetize for the company, at least on a mass market scale. Like I said, most people that I talk to, as soon as their kids started ordering stuff off of Amazon, it went away. Ours just went away because it was annoying. And I was like, I'm not dealing with this. And the company was getting kind of creepy at the time too. So it wasn't a very hard thing for it just to disappear.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting annoyed by the ways too, or the tinfoil hat started coming out on a lot of people because you started seeing, things that you maybe talked about show up in your ad feed, and even though you didn't Google it or anything like that, it just showed up. So people are like, it's listening to me. You know what? If it's listening to me, it's listening to me. That's how I am at this point, like they'll probably not want to hear some of the things I talk about, so.
That was one of the conspiracy things, but what it turned out to be was like the data aggregation between all the like things that you did and the people who stood next to you, because they figured you were talking to them and they were tracking them too. But since your phone pinged next to them on the same cell tower or in the same IP network, they must be your friend. So you were talking to them about something. Let's see what they were doing. We'll put all this 5 and 5 together and it comes out to equal this. And look, now we know that you want something. I did see a funny post. I think I put it in our channel. It was like the targeted ads. Like, we all think they're funny. They're fun and games now, but wait till they start putting them on your smart TV. It's like, that's going to be quite awkward when you're watching TV with your family and a targeted ad comes up for whatever you've been looking at the internet on. Honey, I have no idea how that got there.
Clearing my history now.
It's just, oh man. Anyway, it's interesting. I wonder what initiatives they are doing that are going away. There's a lot of weird things that system did, like the celebrity voices. They canceled that project. There's probably a few people that were working on that still. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what kind of falls off the wagon in the future and is discontinued. And we're like, that must have been what those few hundred people were working on or something like that. But I think with all the generative stuff that they're going to get into, it will make for a better product that's more conversational and feels like it's working a little bit better for you. But I don't know. Like I don't, like TJ said, they just need to start charging more for it for what it is, rather than giving them away for like $20 or free with a purchase of, I don't know, something at Thanksgiving time. I mean, there were years that we go by and like, you could just walk in Target and you can walk out with a Amazon Echo for $5 or something like it.
Where you got it for free as part of a bundle with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Buy a $20 light bulb and you got a free Amazon Echo.
Right. It was a loss leader. And I mean, I'm sure those ended up in people's homes, but then I'm sure they unplugged them and put them away somewhere or tossed them or whatever. They're definitely going to have to start focusing a little bit better and doing more. Anyway, there's no one that matters this week. I guess technically there is. Switchbot does matter because they do have that Lock Pro that has Matter compatibility. So congratulations, Switchbot. You matter this week. Your $170 Matter compatible lock. Yay!
Well, and somebody else matters too this week, Seth. The new Inovelli 2-in-1 switch is available for pre-order with Thread and Matter. So,
okay, there we go.
There you go. Two people. I don't know. I actually don't know when they started the pre-launch, but why not?
There we go. Congratulations, you guys matter. I know. I mean, we'll go ahead and announce it this week, but next week we may have somebody on who's an expert in all things Matter and be able to tell us what Matter is. And that week, our show will matter because that's pretty much all we're going to talk about. Let's move on here. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found on our show notes over to HomeTech.fm/461. Nothing in the mailbag this week, but I do have a pick of the week, and that is an interesting video. Have you guys seen this technology connection? I guess
I do watch his videos.
I can't remember his name now. He's a really good explainer of things. He does like deep dives into like the most tedious thing. He had like an hour or two long video on a refrigerator or something, like how refrigerators work, which was fascinating. I remember watching one where he bought a like a dishwashing machine and like cut a window into it and was looking at how it washed dishes. I'm like, this is the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. Like, why don't they put windows on dishwashers? Like, why? They need, like, what? That would be amazing to sit there and watch what was going on inside your dishwasher. It would be
They
like
put them on the washing machines.
Yeah. Why don't they do it
in
on
the oven?
dishwashers? I want to see in there and see if my dishes are getting clean. But anyway, he's got one on the clapper. And it's great. It's actually a pretty cool video. It goes over, tears it apart, looks inside, goes over some of the things about the company behind the clapper, and I don't know, just kind of brought some memories back. I actually had the triangular looking one that he shows there in the video, and used that in college in my dorm.
The clapper was ahead of its time. You know, like I could still see a use for that today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never owned a clapper, but I feel like it would be an awesome device, especially in 2023. But, you know, if these people that run Matter want to get Matter adoption up, I feel like they should make a Matter compliant one. So that way you could clap and then have it trigger things through home automation. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome?
So what you're saying is that you want a Matter clapper?
I want a Matter clapper.
I'm just checking that domain right now. I'm sorry.
I knew that. I saw the look on your face. You know, for the listeners,
it's available.
You can't see Seth's face, but he has a certain face when he's looking up domains, and you just know he's looking up the domain. It's his domain lookup face.
Yeah. Well, I guess in the video, he goes over a couple of things, reasons that the clapper was not very good. And that it has a lot of false positives. I mean, it's a very inexpensive device and was based on some pretty basic circuitry and basically sound detection. So when it heard a loud noise, that was one click. And then if it hears another loud noise, that's a second click. And it did have a sensitivity thing on it, and you could turn that down, but then you'd have to clap louder, and it would be kind of weird. But
what year was that released in? Was that 80s?
The clapper?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It was I think like an 80s project.
Yeah, I mean, for that time, that was good because we still had our remotes, you know, tethered to our TV back then.
Now you're going to make me look this up. There's got to be a Wikipedia article on the clapper.
Well, it's definitely in the video, but I forget what he said.
1984, San Francisco-based Joseph Enterprises, with the slogan "Clap on, clap off the clapper." I remember that jingle. It's nice. But now they have a new version that looks it's a little smaller. They've gone a little smaller, and they no longer recommending, according to the video here, they no longer recommend on the package that you use it to turn on and off your TV.
I wonder why.
It's amazing. And Wikipedia here, although meant to activate by clapping, the clapper can inadvertently be triggered by other noises. That was my experience as well when I had it in my dorm. I eventually did switch over to something like the little remote control based things to turn on some like extra lights, to turn off some lights that I had. So I didn't like the fluorescent tube lights that were in my dorm. Anyway, we'll have to wait for the Matter clapper to come out. I would just want a Zigbee clapper, but you know, if you got a Zigbee clapper and it also offered Matter compatibility, that'd be great.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you get interest in the new platform. You know, nothing else is exciting about Matter at the moment, sensor wise. So we need something like this to draw interest.
And I figure like with all of the I think what you'd have to do with it, we can totally get Eric on this. Like, I think Eric could put this together. And what we do is be like, you see all the complaints about this over in the original clapper. Like, I think what we could do is say, no, this one, guess what it has? It has AI. It uses AI to determine if it's a clap.
Damn. Now it can identify your clap.
Yeah. You could train it on your clapping. Clap. Yeah.
Who's clapping?
Is that a Gavin clap? Is that a Seth clap?
Is that an applause or is that a clap on? You know, like, oh man, there's so much with technology these days.
Is that a frisky teenager? Well, I got to cut that out.
Oh.
All right.
I gotta get the clap.
That could be an X-rated sensor, though. I mean, why not?
Edit that out.
Yeah, I think there's some as long as you say that it's got AI, I think today, no problem, it'll sell. People are like, oh, that's the clapper with AI. I'm totally getting.
You can use it with your AI pin.
Yes. Oh man, train your clapper. You can have one, right? You can have one clap. You can have two claps, three claps, four claps. There's the possibilities are endless here. You can have patterns of claps as well. You could just say shave and a haircut for me, you know, like that. And you could do that, you know,
You can highly secure something with, dual claps. It doesn't activate unless two of you are clapping at the same time.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good one.
This is how they will run the nuclear silos in the future.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. President, could you clap on beat with Mr. Vice President?
We have to clap at the same time. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Oh no, you activated the secret bomb.
You moisturized your hand. Your clap is different.
Keep clapping. Keep clapping. All right. I think we should talk to Eric. I think he would do this. This would be awesome. There's got to be there can't be any more patents around the clapper at this point, right? Like 1984 patent has maybe. I mean, there's probably definitely like trademark, but patents have got to be old and busted at this point. So
we just rename it the Slapper, and we can avoid all of it.
The Matter Slapper.
Matter Slapper. Is that available, Seth? You should probably check that one out.
I'm sure it is. If not, I can get matterslapper.ca. All right. If you have any questions, comments, picks of the week, or great ideas for a clapper, or whatever, or domain I can buy, just give us a shout. The email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right. We got project updates, and we've got updates to talk about because Home Assistant has updated. Gavin, you posted this in here. I looked through the release notes. Wasn't anything about graphs. I just did a quick Control F, but I did see in the farewell to the following section, my cue's been removed.
Yeah, they were warning about that for a while now. And there was an upgrade to the graphs, like the history graph. I guess they have long-term statistics they added or something like that. So yeah, something for you too, Seth. But the 2023.12 beta was released this week, and I expected it to be a light release. It's the end of the year. It's the last one. A lot of it was based around UI improvements. So they're just making things look prettier, better for the users. One thing I did like to see was they have better error messages around YAML issues. So if you have a bug in your YAML, you actually have a more descriptive message that will tell you where that bug is. Because trust me, finding where that bug is in a 1,000-line YAML was sometimes very difficult, right? So they've improved that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And of course, the usual new integrations, including like the linear garage door, because that's the hot topic. And always review the breaking changes. But, I'm already looking forward to next year. And on is it the 10th of December? They're having the Year of the Voice. I want to say 10th of December. Let me see.
I was going to ask, it was the Year of the Voice. Do we have voice yet? Or I guess it's kind of out.
Yeah, December 13th. Sorry. They have the Year of the Voice part 5.
Oh, nice.
They'll be doing that on YouTube. So they'll be wrapping up the year and everything they've done with the Year of the Voice and stuff like that. So I still can't get my ESP32 working with voice. I've tried multiple times. I've followed many videos. Everything's hooked up exactly how it should be hooked up, and it just doesn't work for some reason. So kind of have it sitting in the back there, and I'll just pick it up one day, probably next year. I'll deal with that. So that's the updates with Home Assistant. And continuing with updates, Unraid 6.12.5 also released, mainly bug fixes, updates. It's always good to keep it up to date. Security, bug fixes, etc., etc. I updated, this morning, Wednesday morning. No issues. It booted back up. Everything was fine. So if yours breaks, it's not my fault. Right? So feel free to update, but keep your things up to date.
If you were on Unraid version 6.12.1, would you? I guess that means I need to update.
Yeah, you should update. You see, and this is the reason why I try and keep up to date, because I don't want to fall like some people are like on Unraid 6.9. They go to upgrade to the latest version. It's like you got to read all the breaking changes between those 20 versions. Just keep it up to date.
Yeah, right? I will say on Unraid, they have made an update assistant. I just click that on one server and it will go through and say, oh, wait, you need to update. Like right now, I need to update the community app plugin. So no big deal. Yes. I go press update on that. But it goes through and does all these compatibility checks on all the plugins, and it will, to its best ability, make sure your hardware and everything is compliant with the update it's going to go to. And if it says you're good to go, then you can go over there and hit the update button on the settings. But I'm gonna go ahead and update my plugins first, or my
always update the plugins and everything first. Yeah. And then sometimes when you do an update, it will tell you plugins that are uncompatible. You have to disable or uninstall them, but be safe, right? But it's always easier to do that point one upgrade than wait for, like 5 different versions later.
Yep. I do like the tools that will help you figure out what, like with YAML, if you got an error on your YAML page or whatever.
Yep.
Having a better tool to tell you where that error is, it's better than not knowing.
I hate when it said, because I used to get YAML errors and it would just say a random line that never matched up. So I was like, great.
My favorite one in the code editors, sometimes like if you mess up or you paste something in that doesn't have the right like closing brackets or whatever, it'll be like, there's an error and it just has the last line highlighted. And it's like, that is not helpful.
There's something wrong here. Figure it out,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we have Chad for now, though. So don't worry.
Yeah, paste it in. Chad, where's the error?
Yeah. You know how many times I had to
fix this for me?
use like a JSON. I've had to use JSON validators to find the error for me. I'd paste the whole JSON code in there and it would be like, oh, 1 quote off. And I'd be like, damn it. Yeah.
Yep. I run into that all the time because I write a lot in Lua, and there's some gaming stuff in Lua, so it is more supported than you might think. But for the most part, Lua is not very well supported. Like if you go to like JavaScript and see some of the tools that you could get with writing in like Node.js or something like that, PHP, any of these like large languages that millions of people are using, there are parsing tools, the things that you get in the code editing and that kind of thing are just, YAML has probably got better tools than you have for Lua. So anyway, let's move on here. You've got last week you teased this a little bit. You said, or it was actually the week before last, because we were kind of going into the Thanksgiving break, and you said, I'm thinking about updating the fiber at the house here. And what ended up happening with that?
I ended up upgrading the fiber. It was actually kind of quick. So what happened was I got a notification from my Rogers that my bill's going up. So it was going up to like more than double the amount. So that gave me the push needed to go to fiber. Bell happened to be in the area offering crazy deals. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So I called her on the Wednesday. I said, whatever, let's sign up. She called me back, and then by Saturday, fiber was installed and activated, and it's beautiful. Like, it's night and day different. So right now, I actually still have both enabled on my Unify setup. So I have my cable as a failover, and I have my fiber as the primary. And I've been doing speed tests, random speed tests, and on fiber, speed exactly what they promised. 1,500 down, 1,000 up. I love it every time. It never slows down. It's always the right speed. On my cable, whenever I do a speed test, it can go from anywhere 300 megabits down to 800 megabits, or it's always 60 up, because that's only 60, right? So my internet is so much, I haven't even thought about internet anymore. It's just working. It's fast. I can't wait to upload the show tonight, because it's just going to show up right there. It's going to fly. I'm excited. So if you have the opportunity to go to fiber, honestly, give it a shot. It's worth it.
And I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I accidentally hit update on this Unraid server.
Your fans kicked in. We were just talking about this.
Yeah, the server fans have gone to max level. The audio processing will probably remove that for the show, but for now, it's kind of loud.
Yeah.
Are they even working if you can't hear them, though? So
who knows? Yeah. That doesn't. I think on Unify you can turn on like a periodic.
There's load balancing and stuff like that. Periodic speed tests.
The speed test, you can turn that on like periodically. It'll do a speed test. I think you can kind of look back and see if you were getting lower or faster. I know on the Firewall,
it's not very accurate in my experience, but
yeah, Unify has always had this weird problem with whatever, like they use third parties and then they use their own, and it's never been good. But yeah, I have Firewall, and it's got they have, I don't know what they use, but it works really well, and it reports back like if you have some issue or something.
Well, with Unify, whenever I do the speed test, it gives me the max speeds on my fiber, and then on my cable it doesn't. So it's
probably servers that are in Toronto, and that's what TJ and I are trying to connect to every time we do our speed test.
So I'm a happy camper now when it comes to my internet.
Nice. It's awesome.
I'm jealous because I'm using hotel Wi-Fi right now. So
yeah,
That's all right,
TJ will be the lowest speed upload tonight. So
will we get it done tonight? Is the question.
nah, I'll probably bring it to the family's house tomorrow, and I'll upload it there. They have real internet, not fiber, but real internet.
Oh, and then the other project I was working on. So I ended up upgrading my home server. So I previously had a 12 core server there chugging away. I kind of outgrew it. So, I just was keeping an eye out for a server, and I ended up picking up a Dell PowerEdge R730 server.
Woohoo!
Right? So a real server. And this thing's awesome, right? So it's got 24 cores, 48 threads. I run everything on it, and I'm loving it. I migrated all my Unraid over to it, all my cards and everything over to it. It works great. The first day I got it and I plugged it in though, and I turned it on, the fans went on, and I was like, hell no. Like, like if you hear one of these things, it's in my basement.
I can right now.
Yeah. When the fans kick in on these things, it's loud. It echoes through the whole house. So I quickly had to fix that with a little Docker container that controls fan speeds and temperature and stuff like that. But now it's working sweet. It came with like 8 network ports on it. I plugged in only 4 of them, load balanced them, plugged in 4, I have multiple video cards in it. This thing's big. I'm going to rewire my rack now because I've changed so much stuff in my rack. It's gotten messy. So I got to pull it all down and redo it all from scratch. So that's fun, just, tell the family no TV for the day and take everything down, Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
There's a couple of major differences between like a normal computer and one of these server computers. A lot of things I like about it. Like the biggest thing is like all that you have is in a 2RU package size. Like it's 3 inches tall. It's like 50 inches deep or something like that. It weighs like 300 pounds, but it's still like really well engineered and like just all kind of like put together. Everything has a purpose in the little box, and it all like all the wires routed correctly and everything. It's really nice. And the other thing is it takes like 15 minutes for the stupid thing to reboot. So loud.
One of my favorite things about the Dell was the iDRAC. I can actually remote into the server and get a little like console and work with it and see everything happening on the server without an operating system on it, right? And I basically, once I plugged it in, I just went up to my office and I worked on it from upstairs, and I could reboot it and see everything, go into the BIOS. I love that with the server. So
yeah, it's like a computer in the computer that's always on, and it's connected to the video output, and it's for lights out. So like if you're not in the data center, they will typically give you a patch into that or whatever, and that's how you can log into your server. You can reboot it. You can literally turn it off, and the computer could be powered off, and that little computer inside there still on, and you can turn it back on. It's like you physically being in front of it. It's really cool.
Yeah,
all computers should have that.
I know. But this is what you get a server for, and I got it for a good price, so I'm not complaining. My next addition to the rack I'm looking for right now is I want a disk array. So I have a couple boxes right now with like 4 drives in each one, and I want them rack mounted and stuff like that. So I priced out like making my own with some SAS cards and stuff, and it got expensive at that point. So I'm looking for a used disk array. Hopefully one will pop up somewhere in Canada. I can buy it. In the States, you have lots of options. Up here, it's still a little expensive. So, I just keep an eye out. And if somebody has one for sale at a good price, then I'll jump on that. But that's my next one. I want to rack mount my drives and connect it to the server nicely and clean that all up. And, that's my next project on the rack.
You may want to do some research on fan controls on those, because I do not know if that's available for you.
I think on those, if it's too loud, I'm gonna be pulling out some fans. It doesn't need all 8 fans. I'll just run with one. It'll be fine. It's in the basement. Basement's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll put it at the bottom of the rack. So it's not. It doesn't catch all the heat rising.
Yeah, it doesn't care. The fan speed. There's 2 fan speeds, on and still on. Very loud on. Yeah. That's what the default settings are. Now you can get the little Docker things and set that up and all that, but it's still going. Not rebooted yet. Oh wait, there it goes. It's back on.
All right. We never heard it this whole time, so you're good, Seth.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Thanks to the power of probably Zoom, and I think I had the voice isolation turned on from the Mac. Like, yeah, you probably wouldn't hear anything, but also, it'll be processed out of it before the show.
So never reboot your server live on air.
Yeah, well, I forgot about that one. There's one server I can reboot, but our show notes are on it, so I didn't want to reboot that. But then there was that. Yeah, wouldn't want to do that. But that one I could reboot, but it was very loud to do. So anyway.
And moving on. One more thing. I saw this video this week and I thought it was amazing, right? And I wish I had seen this before, but it was how to migrate your Z-Wave 500 or 700 series controller to an 800 controller. This video, I wish I saw it before I went through this because I had to go through all 90 devices and do the 3 exclude, re-include. This video shows you how to do it just by adding the new controller into your Z-Wave network, migrating all the devices over to it, and then removing the old one, and then doing a couple other steps after that to make it the primary controller. But it's so much easier to do it this way. If you're thinking about migrating from a 500 or 700 series, there's no backup and restore to the 800 series. This is probably the easiest way to do it. And the key thing about this is it's a lot easier on the batteries of the devices, because when you go through doing the include, exclude, you're going to be wearing down the battery of those devices, right? That's one thing I noticed is afterwards, a lot of my batteries drop because it's very intensive. But if you do it this way, you don't even have to touch any of the devices. It migrates them all over. We'll link to the video in the show notes. If you're thinking about migrating, look at this video. It looks scary. It's actually not that scary, right? And it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, looking at the like the Z-Wave PC controller software that they have open, it's like very daunting. But yeah, I don't know if it makes it easier or a faster process rather than doing all that stuff you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely do it this way.
Yeah, that controller software sucks. Like it honestly, it's so confusing. Like, but the video, just follow what he says to do. He says, click here, just click there. Don't ask no questions. The words that he's clicking on doesn't even make sense what it means. No. You know, it's something I have no idea. Just click on it and do what he says, because in the end, your devices will be migrated. I mean, in Home Assistant, you may have to reset some of the naming and stuff like that. I don't know how it will handle that, but I think it should keep all that. If it's migrating all the devices, it should keep all that. But it's so much easier. And the last step where he migrates it makes it become the first one. That's a little daunting, but it makes sense what he's doing. Just follow. Don't ask any questions. Just follow what he's doing.
Just do this.
Right. And it's going to save you a lot of time, because I went through excluding and re-including devices multiple times. It's not fun, you know? So it's worth a watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's seeing stuff like this. It makes me grateful for like dealing with Control 4 over you know, for like we've had our problems with the Control 4 and Zigbee and what they did, but never anything looking like this. Like if you move you can migrate devices across controller. There was processes that they basically set up, and they were probably doing all of these commands in the background to do their thing. But for the most part, all of this was managed by the system, and we had some very basic tools on top of it to move stuff around, and just, you know, the Zigbee's working, it's working. You could go in and delete stuff. You could accidentally delete everything out of your system, and then you have to go around and tap everything back in. But wow, yeah, I'm watching this thing flash and move everything over. It's just like going crazy. But it definitely this is very daunting. But I'm watching this guy click away, and it seems to be doing something. So
trust me, it's so much easier to do what he's doing than to go through especially when you have like 90 devices. If you have like 20 devices, go through, re-add them all, right? If you have 100 devices, you want to do this.
Interesting. Well, we'll definitely put this link in the show. This is good. This is a good tutorial thing or information to have.
Yeah.
All right. TJ, what you're traveling, but did you get anything done before you left the house?
Yeah, you know, we had Thanksgiving last week. So we obviously didn't work on Thanksgiving Day. And then I had the entire weekend off. So we pretty much just hung around the house. We were supposed to go to Chicago and see our friend Adam, but that didn't work out. We had some problems with the hotel bookings and some other things. And it was just like, we'll just stay behind the house this weekend and just do some stuff here. So I got a pair of Sonos Era 100s and I installed them as surrounds in the living room. And I finally got surround sound back. I had surround sound at the old apartment. I was using Sonos One speakers on stands, but this room wouldn't really look good with speaker stands. So I had to get some wall mounts, and I figured I might as well go ahead and buy the Era 100s, being the newer speaker. Got those installed. They seem to be working fine. The annoying Sonos problem that always exists whenever a new device comes out is that you can never true play your system with the new device because they haven't adjusted the programming for the new phone. And so I had to like find an old iPad that had, an old iOS on it in order to actually true play the system. So that was kind of annoying, especially because the phone's been out for like 2 months now almost. So that was kind of annoying. I'm not sure, should I stick with the Era 100s or if I should just upgrade to the 300s to have Dolby Atmos for the surrounds? I'm not really sure. It's like twice the price. And so like that alone makes me not want to do it. But it's also like, well, I'm only going to buy these speakers once. So should I just go ahead and bite the bullet to do it? But the best thing I've done so far with my Sonos system is I added a hallway speaker this weekend. We don't have a very big house. Yeah, we don't have a very big house.
Fancy.
But we have speakers in literally every room. But it was annoying going into like the hallway because like the hallway has the laundry room that you go to, and then like toiletries, closet, and all that good stuff. And you'd be in the hallway and like you couldn't hear the Sonos system at all, or you'd be walking to the room and you'd get like a dead zone. And so I had an extra Sonos One that I went ahead and just installed in the hallway, and it's like set at like 20% volume. It's not even that loud. But it's perfect because now as I walk to room, I don't get any of that dead zone anymore. So highly recommend that if you have $200 to waste on a speaker that won't get that much use.
Well, even if you want to save some money, grab one of the IKEA speakers and do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And the one of the reasons why I like Sonos, I said this to you before, was when you have all Sonos and you AirPlay to like all the rooms, they're all in sync. Like when I play all my rooms in my house, everything's in sync. It sounds great in the house, right? And you walk into every room and it's the same thing in sync. When you have different devices, I used to have like different devices I would AirPlay all at the same time, and they'd slightly go out of sync. And that was annoying because then you start hearing the echoes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, I love it.
So I think I only have basically 2 Sonos purchases left that I'm aware of at least. And this will probably obviously change because what doesn't?
But I'm aware of the headphones you'll be buying next year. So there's 3,
obviously. And the next one would be a Sonos Beam, probably the second one. I have a Sonos Ray in the den right now, and it works fine. But like the annoying thing about it is that it's optical only, and so it's hard to control with like my Apple TV remote. And so like I shouldn't have got it in the first place, but I need to buy these things to use them and see what they are. So I'll replace that at some point, but I think I'm pretty much done. I've got literally speakers in every room now. So
nice. Almost every room you get them in your hallway too. It's crazy.
Yeah, there you go. That's how fancy I am. And then this past weekend, Gavin graciously donated 2 hours of his time on a Sunday to help me set up my Blue Iris. So the Blue Iris is mostly set up, but there's always like, different settings that you need to actually go through and set up and learn how to edit the motion zones and stuff like that. And we did 2 different 1-hour Zoom calls that kicked us off both times to get that set up and everything. So thanks, Gavin, for helping me get that set up, because now they work with my phone and I get motion notifications and all that kind of fun stuff. So what you would basically expect out of a camera system in 2023.
No problem. You see, the thing is because I've been through this and I understand it, like it only took us 2 hours, but if you were to do this yourself, you would spend days probably trying to figure this stuff out, right? Like Blue Iris is like that. The first time I set it all up, it took me a long time to get to that point, right?
Yeah, so this didn't make Blue Iris better, but at least so it's easier to use.
Yeah, yeah. the hard part was getting your GPU working. That was just a pain in the butt. Yeah, but we got it.
Yeah,
nice. I keep wanting to give up on Blue Iris, but
it's so easy to give up on it.
It is, but it's so powerful. Like one of the things I showed TJ, a little trick if you have Blue Iris, is all my cameras record 24/7, right? But then I hide those, I leave those, and then I make clones of those cameras. And it doesn't create two streams from the camera. It actually uses the same stream, but the clones I use for all the motion detection. So you get all the notifications only on the clones and the clips and stuff like that. But what if you miss something or something was out of your motion zone and you want to go back? You can go back to the recording one and you can have the full recordings there. So, that's like a power blue iris tip for people, and then always like, your computer shouldn't be running at 100% if you got Blue Iris. It just means you need tweaking, and there's a lot of tweaks of Blue Iris that you need to do, in terms of video encoding or even the frame rates and stuff like that. They make a big difference.
Yeah, my server was definitely being not optimized. It was running at 100% CPU for the longest time. I was like, this is not good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm still on the journey of avoiding the inevitable switch to Blue Iris. Right now, I'm still in the mad phase where it's like, I just didn't want to look back at it because it had the stupid evaluation copy written across the video feed only video feed I connected to it. And even though I wasn't using that much processing speed on it, it was okay. But my latest try out was the Security Spy, which is a Mac OS based NVR software. And it's okay. It's still making me hate every NVR software available out there. Like it's not optimal, but it does have a lot of the features that Blue Iris has. Also doesn't require, like in normal Mac fashion, it's like it doesn't have very many settings that you can get into. Unlike Blue Iris, which has all of the settings. Like it literally has everything. But one of the things is I was like, well, I wonder what, I have this Mac Pro sitting here. Let me just grab it and see, what I can do. I probably could put like 100 cameras on this thing. Nope. Think again. This Mac Pro, which is the trash can version, is pretty much that at this point, because I literally could not put very many cameras on the Mac Pro at even 10 frames per second. Like there's a calculator. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, and you can go through and like put in what you think your system requirements are going to be. And I'm fairly low. It's like 6 cameras. They're not very big cameras. I mean, at most like 1080p. It still didn't matter. The Mac Pro just kind of never really showed up. And I think I did get it to show. Oh yeah, there's a legacy Max button you have to click, and it's in there, but it's like the most cameras I'd be able to get onto are like 24. And if you start adding in like 265, it's 265, you're like, it says no, don't do that. But I do have some Mac Minis. I have a Mac Mini laying around. The late 2012 Mac Mini had like better support for things, and I was like, well, I'll just use that. So I fired that up and connected my one camera test camera to it, and it seems to be working okay. And it has an okay interface. I don't know. I might stick with this. This is like $40. It looks like 33 pounds. It's got an app like Blue Iris you have to pay extra for. The interface isn't all that great, but at this point I'm just like, well, what is great? Like what is
the bar is very low. So
I don't know.
It's amazing that there's not many good options out there. There's not many options out there. Like nothing out there is great. And yeah, it blows me away.
Even on the pro side of stuff, we saw a lot of interviews, and they just came out with this new app called I don't know. It used to be called,
the old one was Easy View.
Easy View, yeah. But now there's UNV Link, UNV-Link. And UNV-Link is actually really good. You can log in and it transfers all your stuff over to it. Works really fast. You can do firmware upgrades. It looks a lot better, but it's still just kind of halfway there for me. I don't know. I'm okay with it, but it falls in the realm of literally every Chinese made NVR solution I've ever seen.
I think the UniView is probably one of the better professional ones, but that's not really saying much because all the other ones are really awful.
Yeah. You look at like Dahua, Hikvision, and UniView. I mean, the app experience is
the same thing.
Like they have the same UI requirements document or something they stole from each other. They're just running off that, and they're like, yeah, we'll just make it with this thing. And when you click the camera, it'll load real fast. And it's just kind of weird how they all it look the same. And of course, if you have like another brand that's been OEM'd from one of these brands, it's the same app. It's just reskinned and it works exactly the same. They're just weird in that respect. But yeah, I don't know. The UniView Link app is new, and like I said, it works well enough. I can see the camera outside, my test camera outside, pretty quickly off of it. I haven't tried remotely though. I should probably try that. But actually, I take that back. I have remote cameras at the office that I'm dialed into to test different things with, and it works really fast as well on those. So anyway, I'm watching TV at the office right now on a camera on my app. Still not what I'm looking for my home thing. I kind of want to have all these advanced features and everything. So I'll keep tinkering with this security spy thing. It seems to have everything I want without the 2-hour phone call with Gavin. Although I would appreciate that if it comes down to it.
I'll let you have your fun and everything, but when the honeymoon's over, you can schedule. My calendars are open. You can schedule me for a couple hours.
Oh man.
You have to send us some Timmy Hoes.
Exactly. And I did get some things done that I've been kind of like meaning to do for a while that probably weren't on any honey-do list, but they were kind of on my list of things to do. I finally hung my projector from my garage ceiling. I posted a picture of that in the hub and asked Owen to rate my theater. He didn't say much.
He was being nice. He was being nice. That's why. Yeah.
And I had an LG soundbar that was just kind of like laying around. Literally on top. It was actually on top of my daughter's little like coloring table that she uses out here in the garage when she's out here, and she couldn't use it because it was just laying on there, and the HDMI cables and power cables were just like strewn about. And so I finally picked all that up when I hung my projector and ran the wires along the garage door opener track because that's where I zip tied them to. And the LG soundbar is now garage door mounted below the screen, which is also garage door mounted. And it's the most janky rigged up theater, but I love it because I can just turn it on with my FLIR remote, right? My FLIR remote.
There you go. That has a use finally.
Yeah, it does finally have a use because I can't control the volume on the LG soundbar without having this. And of course, the natural order of things. Once you have more than 3 devices, you have to have a remote. So I'm back in the remote camp, Gavin. I'm sure you're glad to hear that one.
I'm still waiting for a Harmony killer.
It's not this one. It's not the FLIR remote. I can tell you that. It's still marked in beta. The software still hasn't really updated very much past when I initially tested it out towards the beginning of the year. But it does basically turn on my system and turn it off. I didn't have many issues like setting it up to do that. So They did have a ton of diagnostic things built into it now where I could go in and see like logs and everything. Like you could turn that on and then hook it up to USB and then press the button and watch all the commands fly by and that kind of thing. So that was nice. I did like that.
You do read logs then?
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I just turned it on just to. What's this option for?
Let's have it just in case.
Yeah. Here's the Gavin checkbox, and then I was like, oh, let's turn that back off because I don't want to read this very. But you can get in there and mess up things. You can get in there, and I think it even had some YAML configuration or something. Maybe it was JSON, but same thing. Anyway, not a Harmony replacement anytime soon. It really needs RF. Like that would do it, right? If it had a little base station that could communicate back to those little USB things, that's what it needs. And I finally installed an outlet. And I know that's not news, but back on show 453, when we were talking about our new iPhones.
Oh man, that was a while ago.
It's 461 right now. I bought. We were talking about an Anchor outlet that I was going to buy. I bought the Anchor outlet and snuck into the kitchen to install it real fast. And my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm putting this new outlet in. It has USB-C chargers." And she noticed that it only had one outlet on it. And so I had to return the Anchor and get the one with the 2 outlets on it, which is still fine. The Amerisense GAN 65 watt, 6 amp, 3-port USB wall outlet, whatever. It's got the 65 watt USB-C output. So I can put my laptop on it and it'll charge and run or do whatever it needs to do without having the big power brick in there. But you could quick charge your cell phones, your iPads, all that good stuff. And it also has a USB, the normal USB and whatever the original version was on there too. So, should cover everything, but, I must have returned the other one and ordered that one and, set it on my desk at some point because it was sitting here when I was cleaning off my desk for the holiday. And I was like, oh, here's that thing. I'll just run and install it. And I did and finally got that put in. September 29th is when we talked about that. So that's how long It's November 29th now. It only took 2 months to put in an outlet.
It's not bad in terms of projects, Sometimes they take a while.
That's actually not that bad, actually.
I'm just like any contractor at this point. When are you going to get out here and do this?
Give yourself better credit than that.
I'll be out there tomorrow, 2 months later. Yeah. And, well, what's cool is I still have like the outlet thing with the USB-A version, the old ones. And I've got like on the wall over there, I've got a Sensibo that kind of turns on and off the AC out here. So what I'm going to do is it has an old iPhone charger that is plugged into and takes up an outlet. So I'm going to use that and replace it out here. And that way we'll have 2 outlets out here, plus the charger plugged into the Sensibo for the AC unit to turn on and off, which is not needed tonight. It's not even on. And I'm not even sweating in my garage. Amazing.
That's how you know it's cold.
Yeah. So it's really cold. Gavin is in a hoodie it's
-4 degrees Celsius up here. Like,
oh my gosh, I don't even know what that is. How cold is that in Freedom units?
I don't know, but I had to brush snow off of my car this morning, and it wasn't a lot, just
24 degrees. Whew.
Yeah,
25 degrees. Yeah, that's cold.
Yeah,
sounds cold. Can't believe it goes below 0.
Oh, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, we haven't even made it to winter yet. It's weird. Anyway, that's all I've got. I actually did a bunch of things around the house, and my Christmas decorations are in progress still. I have with Christmas, the lights and everything, there's the things that I want to do, and there's the things I can afford to do, and then there's like
the things you have time for.
Exactly. There's like afford time. Yeah. Basically, I ran out of zip ties with the amount of lights I'd put up this year and what I was trying to do. But I did take time to, in the past, I have used these PVC pipes that connect to the soffit using some like clips, like PVC clips or whatever. And in the past, I had basically taken time and just zip tied cables and things like that. This year, I basically cut the wires and soldered little waterproof connectors in between them. So now when I go to take down those lights that go across the soffit, everything's all labeled, and I can just pull them down and strap them together and throw them in the back. And I shouldn't have to do that anymore. But as I was doing this and zip tying everything, I found other ways to do the same thing that would probably have been better. And now I kind of want to do those. I've spent all this time zip tying everything. I'll have to cut it all off and start over. So, oh man, it never ends. It never ends. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I'll try and post a picture of that in our show notes as well, because it's been fun. My janky theater and my zip tie lights. Luckily, you can't see them when they're on. So. That's probably a good time to stop the show here. We do want to give a big thank you for everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, the hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather in there every day and talk about all the news and things that are going on and see my janky theater pictures as I get done with them, and the Owen rating, which, I don't think he's rated, actually. I think he suggested I go talk to somebody else.
Yeah, it's probably for a good reason. So
anyway, I know we talked about Owen probably in the exact same spot, that he does have a really cool podcast I've been listening to, and now I really want to pick his brain about this RP22 spec thing. It's actually kind of fun. I've been hearing about it for a few years now from him and from people around the industry and Cedia podcast, and it's actually a really cool spec that they've drawn up and put together, and I'm reading through it and thumbing through it, and I'm gonna have to learn more about it. So anyway, if you want to help out but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. Really helps people find the show. That's gonna wrap up news this week. Everyone have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.